Okay, for my usability report, I chose to do Bing.com, the popular search engine, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Um, this is a site I use to search most of my stuff, as opposed to using Google. It just integrates nicely with all the other Microsoft services I use, as well as being on my phone. So it just works nicely with all the systems I use from Microsoft. So that's why I choose to use Bing. That being said, there are some quirks about it that I would change. Some things that don't really make sense to me. Um, and even now, I'm just noticing something else that's a little bit different. But the landing page is nice. It's got this nice wallpaper, some interesting facts. But I mean, most people just kind of breeze right through this. But let's just do a basic search for food. And the first thing I notice is that everything's aligned to the left of the page. I've got a lot of screen here. I can show a lot of information. However, I'm having to look to the left of the screen because it's not aligned with the center of of my page. The thing that is in the center of the page is the ads, and that's front and center. So I don't like to see that too much. Another thing that you notice right off the bat is the way the page looks, just in terms of color and layout. I mean, everything is a link. There's not a lot of picture. There's not a lot of color differentiation. It's all blue. Everything, it's the standard color for a link, sure, but everything is blue. I want to. Sometimes everything blends together. It's hard to tell what section is which, especially with the ads. I believe there is a little bit of a color box around that, but I mean something like that, highlighting that this section is different than this section, would be nice to see. So then again, when doing searches, in terms of usability, you've got these nice hot links here to different results for each term you search, like images, local results, shopping, that kind of thing. And if you'll notice, I'm just noticing this again. Another thing that's a little bit weird. When you're clicking between the different types of search, news, local, shopping, the tabs switch places. I mean, if you can watch that, they switch order. That doesn't make any sense, and that's just something I just noticed now. So it's hard to keep track of where you're going and where you came from. You've got these links right here, and then they're also at the very top of the page. It seems kind of redundant, seems a little unnecessary, but they put them both in there. So okay. Navigating up here, again, the tabs switch position and don't keep track of where you've been and where you're going. There's also a drop down for more options, which gives you all these other different ways to search, which is nice and handy, but I don't understand why I need to go to an entire page to select what kind of search I want, as opposed to just getting all the results from the drop-down menu. I mean, that would make more sense to me, and I think that it would be a lot easier to use, as opposed to having to go to a whole other page to pick what kind of search I want to do. Another quirky thing about the ways to sort your search, depending on which term you search for. Here, let's try institution. We only have 4 choices: web, news, images, and more. And we have all of a sudden more choices in the drop-down. So why they can't add all these options into a drop-down menu is beyond me, but they chose to just add a select few in there. Now, instead of putting them in the drop-down, why couldn't they just add them along right here and having the same amount of choices right across the top as they do up here? The menu, the navigation system just keeps changing depending on what you search for, and maybe it's by design. I don't know, but as a user, it's just jarring because I never know where I am or how to get where I am, and ended up not using the interface at all. With most browsers nowadays, you can search right from the address bar, which is what I do. Um, I don't even go through the portal. I don't even go through the Bing page. Um, I just open up a new tab and then search right from the bar. So a lot of that goes unused for me personally, um, because of the way it's designed. I just choose not to use it. One last thing I'd like to touch on is the location, up here in the upper right by the settings. It's set to my zip code, but at the landing page it's now set to the United States. I'm not sure why that's different. It's a small thing, but I don't know why it tells me I'm in the United States and then where my zip code is. So, but that being said, I have seen this different. It said Menominee Falls, which is not where I am. It's said Racine, and I think it's going through the internet service provider. It's not maybe Microsoft's fault necessarily, but I've tried to set my location through the preferences, so that it would know what's around me using local search and things like that, and it just reverts back to whatever it chooses. Actually, sometimes it might be Menominee Falls, sometimes it might be Racine, sometimes it might be my zip code. It just tends to change, and I end up having to set it back often. So that's basically it. I mean, it is usable. It is a search engine. It does what it needs to do. But there are just a few small user-friendly things that they could do to make it better. Just a little bit more consistency throughout the navigation, and a little bit more access to the different menus they have. I think that would be it. Thank you.